by Fabiano Caruana, who has drawn his game against the world champion, Magnus Carlsen. We're hoping that Magnus may be able to join us, but he tends to be rather popular here in Norway and is being interviewed all over the place. So a quiet game, Fabiano, would you say? Were there moments of great tension in the game?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah.
Just a moment of cursing myself for not knowing anything about d5. Because I think this just shows that you have to analyze d5 at any moment in the marshal or anti-marshal.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's this line, which is pretty well known.
Yeah.
And I was trying to compare
and contrast.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if there's any advantage to having the pawn in a4.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this famous game. I think that Wesley So.
Yeah, for 96 and a5.
And then Rook a6 came.
Yeah. Which was all Anish Giri's analysis, wasn't it, or something? Yeah, I think it was.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was all in New in Chess. So if you subscribe to New in Chess, greatest magazine in the world, and not only because I write for it, it's there. You've got superb analysts like Anish Giri, and Ivanchuk apparently failed to read the magazine.
He lost a
very important game.
Yeah, very important game.
So
there's also, there's f6, which is comparable to the game as well, and here c4 is considered somewhat dangerous for black.
Okay.
And so we got something similar.
Yeah. So I think if we just go on a couple of moves, I think somebody mentioned that there was this line. Yeah, actually with a takes b5 and something with c4 here was played in some. Is that right? Some game of Wang House.
I didn't really understand why I would do this if there's this line where I have an extra move of h3. And here b4 seems somewhat weakened, and I assume that black has maybe like king h8, d4, and bishop b4 or something like this.
I think there was some rook e4, rook h4 or something. I've forgotten the continuation. I've already, that was it was some brilliant mate, but anyway.
No, whenever I play black, I'm terrified by stuff like rook e4, h4. But then with white, I would never do it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have a feeling
there are some positions which you see ghosts at
either side.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling that black should be okay here.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't. It looks like a very
brutal
attack.
Anyway,
I played. Vishy once played a similar way against me. I mean, with the pawn h3.
Yeah.
So I was trying to emulate him.
Right.
Even though.
Yes. Well, we're sorry for that rather strange interruption. Here we have some enthusiastic people nearby, or drunk, or chess hooligans. That's right. We've got chess hooligans here.
Yeah. So I was sort of. I thought my position was interesting. Now he played b4, which is a very solid move.
Yeah.
I mean, he told me after the game that he was considering f5 and if knight eg5, queen d6, which looks a bit scary, and c4 is an option. I think that I probably would have just gone to g3 though, and then I guess queen d6 again.
Right.
And wouldn't say that either side is better here. I mean, it's very difficult for either side to do anything because black's pawns are not really mobile, and I also don't find it easy to attack them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd probably
Would
start
you play
making
queen e2?
Queen e2, knight f4 is unfortunately.
That's the problem.
I mean, I guess I can do this.
Yeah. And maybe a tad better, slightly better there.
Really,
D4,
it depends.
D4
I mean, I could be much better as well.
Yeah.
Because d4 comes and there's a lot of weaknesses here.
Yeah.
And I assume g5 is not too frightening. It's not so easy. My knights are kind of tripping over each other.
And can you not try and win material with knight e5 and takes?
Yeah.
and take with the rook, and then the
That would be
pawn's hanging on b5.
It would be an interesting ending.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if it's great for white. For
Okay, so this was a moment
Yeah.
where Magnus could have played something risky. He could have played something risky, but
Yeah.
in fact he played the most solid, sensible move,
Yeah,
logical
that's
move.
maybe I even have knight f. I'm not sure if this is insane, but in any case, this would have been a very sharp continuation for him.
Yeah.
I mean, b4. Yeah, I really didn't want to play c4, knight b6. I had a feeling that
This
This
can turn against
would
you
really turn against
very,
me, yeah.
very quickly. Yeah.
and yeah. So if I really want to play boring, I can just do this and
Yeah. Okay.
play knight d4. And I was still hoping for something. This I wasn't too happy with, because I probably take on c3 and then he goes knight f4, and I have a feeling that if anyone is better, it's black, although it's most likely still equal. So yeah, I mean, this is just awful. Although it's sort of important that I play queen d3.
Ah, right. I
play-
was looking at queen c2. But
Queen
that's
c2, bishop g5 is very...
Yeah, and then knight takes g5. Knight takes g5.
Yeah,
Can you do- you know,
Knight g5, I was a bit concerned with this.
aha. Knight e6.
Oh, actually, that doesn't look too good. Wait, what was I concerned with? Maybe...
I don't know. I wasn't.
Maybe it's good.
I wasn't looking at. We
For some reason, I was
I didn't-
afraid of something here.
Yeah, I didn't have the engine on. I haven't checked it, but that's what I was looking
No,
at.
this
Yeah.
looks winning.
Yeah.
So he can't do that for more than one reason. I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to play queen d3,
Yeah.
which also looked good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could play cd4, and then I guess he'll play knight cb4. I didn't like all his knights, but it's still complicated. Maybe I can play h4 and try to mess around a bit.
And perhaps this was one of the last chances to make mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, if I really wanted, if I was in a must-win situation,
go, yeah, must win, yeah.
then
Which you're not.
No, I mean, I still, the thing is, I played knight d4 kind of thinking that I could play queen d4, and then at f5, I realized that this is simply not good. My queen
Yeah.
just has no good squares to go to.
Right, okay.
And I can, I have stuff like this, but then I mean, he has knight f6, and I thought, I'm just risking. Or I can play knight g5, and then bishop f6, and I wasn't sure what to do.
Okay. So you
so-
just played safely,
Yeah, and he did the same.
and he did the same.
I mean, not much.
Yeah.
Black is way too solid here.
Yeah. And the last, what was the last key maneuver? Maybe knight b6 is. Would you say that's the last key maneuver, putting the bishop on d5, or is it not necessary?
I think that
even that is
he
not
just plays
necessary.
h6 or something.
It's all, even that is,
Yeah.
is perfectly good.
It's more or less all equal.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah, that just
fine
looked
way.
rock solid after the bishop came to d5.
and maybe I should put my knight on c3. But in any case, it's all equal.
Yeah.
But at least here I could
Yeah.
stop him from training bishops.
Okay. So who have you got tomorrow?
I have no idea.
You've no idea. So you're like many of these players, going one day at a time, and you're not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Don't want to get too far ahead of yourself in a tournament like this. Just
No, I don't. I don't really think about any game besides the next one. So.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you very much, Fabiano.
Thanks.
We will take a short break there and be back very, very quickly. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Perhaps we're not taking a short break there because our technician has disappeared. So, as I've just noticed. So let's have a look at some of the other games. A lot of things happening. We've got our technician back, Jose. Right. The Anish Giri against Sergei Karyakin. It actually sort of petered out a little bit with this rook b3 because b6 and some quiet moves. We got an exchange, and actually this is just a one weakness position, but looks. It's very slightly better for white. I mean, Ulf Andersson would be very happy here. The great Swedish grandmaster of yore.
But he would be happy with any 0.02 position.
Yeah, 0.01.
Yeah.
And just a tiny little squeeze. If white, the only thing I should say,
That's Magnus.
Magnus is here, so glad to have him join. We'll just get this up and running. I think we've had a summary from Fabiano. Any key moments, or it was more or less in balance throughout? Would you say?
Yeah. Well, so we get this position. I mean, I'm really ashamed that I didn't remember what to do after knight bd2, because it's not really like.
You've been looking at it not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but
even someone with your great memory, it's you forget things from time to time.
But then, okay, I went f6, so
yeah,
it's not quite sure. Well, it's not certain to me that a4 is more useful than
h3, which is
because with h3, f6 is not considered that great, partly because c4 is possible takes, and then. But now, of course, with the hold on b4, it doesn't make any sense. And okay, so what he did was, I thought, surprisingly venomous. I mean, here, I just couldn't bring myself to do any of the ballsy stuff, like knight here, c5, something like, oops, let's see. ED, something like this.
Well, and you're in danger of getting mated.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Or I was also looking for a long time at f5, like knight g5, and all sorts of moves like c4 and knight h4.
Yeah, we looked a little bit at knight g3 instead of also after this.
Yeah, but it's
and
not
then
so
queen
obvious.
queen e2.
But it's not so obvious that this
takes
is great.
and knight f1.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, why is this great? Like,
okay, d4.
d4.
We looked at this exact position, and I'm just interested to see your train of thought.
No, I mean, this I was not worried about at all. I thought
knight e5.
Takes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this should be all right now. Bishop c6.
That was basically that's where we stopped. And Fabiano said the same thing. So he thought, interesting that
this was what I was. The thing is, I couldn't refute it, but I didn't think it was great either. Like maybe knight h4.
Yeah.
So I can go something like takes.
And f4.
F4 maybe. F4 maybe, then queen h5 comes.
Yeah.
And that could be trouble. But maybe like knight a5. It all looks loose. I mean, objectively it felt like it should be alright, but then I saw that b4, while being rather sad, probably leads to a draw. So so here again I didn't really think too much about CD. I just thought that was solid for black.
Yeah.
So I thought he'd go queen d4, but I guess or also bishop h6, knight g5 takes, but winning this is a bit much.
Yeah, with a draw by far the most likely outcome.
Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah.
again, the tiniest of
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But here it's just nothing.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, no, I mean, I guess knight e4 is the only critical moment. So
Right, right.
when I go b4, I think it's heading.
You're neutralizing White's initiative.
Yeah,
and
it's rather sad, but it's
the
a
way
draw.
the way it goes. Chess is a
Yeah.
drawish game, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
along.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Take a little break. Oops. Sorry. Yeah. We'll take a break. We'll take a break. Yeah. Take a